Hello there. When I'm out talking to people and giving presentations and doing training and the like, one thing I try to avoid is a particular question, which is better, Mac or PC? It's a question which has been following me around my entire working life, and actually it's not a question which is worthwhile spending a lot of time discussing. If you like PCs, use them. If you like Macs, use them. They are just a different way of working, and that's it really. You just use which is best for you. For me, it's all about workflow. I use Apple computers because they just support the way I work, and they help me do the work that I need to do quickly, efficiently and elegantly. And I like that kind of environment. That's my preferred choice. However, you can't call me a fanboy because I'm also surrounded by PCs. There's my little notebook computer, it's a Dell, and there's another workhorse laptop. It's an old compact machine which I still use, and I've got a lot of time for all my electronic stuff is on there, and it's great. The Dell is something that I can throw into my bag for trips to the coffee shop to do surfing and stuff like that. It's wonderful. It's a machine I would choose to do that kind of stuff with. But when I'm working at my desk and I've got writing deadlines to hit, it's my Mac. Now, Apple have just had a event where they've launched their new range of MacBook Air and MacBook Pros. Now, the Airs and the Pros are their laptops. They're the laptop models that they now sell. MacBook Pros traditionally aimed at the more professional kind of market. MacBook Airs are kind of more sleek and cut down, but still kind of aimed at the people that who need to chuck a computer in a bag and zoom around the country and zoom around town without carrying something that's too heavy. What they've done though with the MacBook Air and the MacBook Pro is, for the first time, they've taken away the CD drive, the built-in CD DVD drive. Now on my model, I've got a slot on the side here where you can stick CDs and DVDs, and that might be a really important part of your workflow, of your life, of the way that you do your work. Apple do have something called a super drive, which is an external drive you can plug into one of the ports. And that's great. It's a good device, but it means you've got two things to carry about, and it's not a one-box solution. You need to kind of plan ahead and think that through a little bit. Now, if you really need a CD DVD drive, we're coming to the end of that particular piece of technology's life now. Apple do tend to push technology forward. They do like to make bold steps, and in the 5 years' time we won't need CDs, DVDs, because we'll do everything on the cloud. We'll do everything into the internet and store it in big server farms out in America. And that's great. We're going to get used to it. It'll be there, and we'll wonder what the problem was. To be honest, it'll be something that we'll just get used to and love. Apple have done this to us before. Apple were the first company that stopped 3.5-inch floppy drives in their computers, and we all looked at each other in horror, thinking, "Well, what are we going to do?" And in fact, what came along was the USB keys. These are marvellous, and actually infinitely better than floppy disks. You will get used to the change as it happens, and it will seem like common sense in 5 years' time. But if you really need a CD, DVD drive, and you want to buy a new computer, then perhaps you need to get yourself down to Lewis's, HMV, Tesco's, PC World, KRCS or Square, one of the Apple resellers, to see if you can get one of these, one of the old stock with the built-in CD, DVD drives before they're sold out. Because once these are sold out, it will only be the drives, the computers that don't have built-in drives, and you'll have to use the external or get used to the cloud. Now, how do you find all this kind of stuff out? How do you get this kind of information? I'd like to introduce you to this website. It's called Rumours.com. It's a cracker. I look at it all the time. I must admit, I'm a bit of try and keep up to date and try and keep abreast of what's going on. So I do look in Mac Rumours all the time. Mac Rumours has an extra, as a news page, a news feed, where there's always telling you what they think's going on and what's coming shortly, and all the stuff that they think you might be interested in. And they also have a buyer's guide, and the buyer's guide has got a very simple traffic-like system to try and tell you which piece of equipment is ready to be updated or has just been updated, which ones you should buy and which ones you should perhaps wait a few weeks for. And also, if you read the news, it'll tell you roughly what's going to happen and what might be in or out. in the new models. It's a great little site, and if you're going to make a purchase within the next 6 weeks, start visiting it once or twice a week and try and keep an eye on what's going to happen. Theoretically now, I think we've got the computers that we're going to have for the summer, and there might be some new stuff out in September. Now, I'm happy to talk technology, of course, whenever we meet. Meet lots of people, have great conversations, and happy to talk about technology issues, ideas and suggestions. But if this question crops up, what's best, Mac or PC? What I'll tend to do is I'll introduce you to someone else who has also got an interest in that question, and I'll just simply